Good afternoon, morning, or evening, everyone, depending on what part of the world you're in. Happy Easter, Passover, or Sunday, depending on what you might be celebrating today. Anyway, we are wrapping up week 6 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League, our spoiler log co-pilot key sanity week, and we have a race for you with pretty big playoff implications between RampantRevenant and Recitador here. That's a lot of ours. I'm Drosy1. I'm here with TabbyCat54. How are you doing today?
Doing well, had a good night's sleep, and ready to see this craziness.
Yeah, I'm really excited here because you can see with the team scores at the top, 21 and 18, and wins worth 3 points, that these teams are very close. And specifically, if Revenant wins, then Did You Check Your Boot will pull into a 3-way tie for first place in the division, and forfeiters would be stuck down at a tie for 5th place. But if forfeiters win, then they and Did You Check Your Boot wind up in a 3-way tie for 3rd place and are gonna be fighting for their both of their lives next week.
Yeah, they'd be tied with my team, which I am from Hyrule Track and Field. We secured 21 points as of yesterday, and we are kind of fighting for that playoffs as well. And so next week is going to be an incredibly hyped week for this division.
Yeah, and a lot of those top teams are going to be facing each other again next week, so
Here we
it's
go.
not going to be settled until well into the week.
Well, we are starting out here, and since we all have access to our spoiler logs whenever we start out, we can definitely let you guys know exactly where everything is. So, gonna kind of act like I'm with one of my runners at the very beginning since I am the pilot, but we have our pendants at Desert Palace, Dark Palace, and Swamp Palace, with the green pendant being on Swamp Palace. And then our 5/6 crystal is at Thieves Town and Turtle Rock. So probably not going to see anything in Pyramid Fairy, but I'm not going to count anything out yet.
Always nice when Swamp's a pendant, as long as there's nothing important in it. But yeah, the runners are just... Because it takes a bit of time for the pilots to read the log and figure out what the first important items the runners should be getting are, the runners tend to do a little bit of running around, just kind of checking the basic locations that you'd be checking if this weren't a spoiler log. Oh, and there's a sword hiding in the mushroom spot, and a hammer on Uncle.
I'm loving the divergence here right off the bat. And I will say is, when my team does this, we always go South Route CAC. Typically we'll do, South Route up into CAC, and then we'll also do Julian just so we have the money, so we have the time. And they give me literally about 45 seconds to check my first items, and then they're going.
Well, at least these runners' first items were pretty easy to find because between Uncle Tunnel and Lost Woods, we are stacked here.
We might have a jet seed, but let's not jinx it yet.
Haven't seen any keys yet. Remember, this is key sanity, so we're going to need quite a few of those.
Very, very true. And keys are kind of really interesting in general because in normal key sanity, when you're not being piloted or you don't have a spoiler log, you're going to try to find every key you can that you think you're going to need before you go in there. In a spoiler log, you might go into, say, let's see, one of these that needs keys, pod. You're going to go in there with like 2 keys. Everyone's going to say, why are you doing that? Well, there's one thing in there.
And welcome to Stackerico, by the way, where Blind's Hut had both the mirror and the red cane. On the front of Escape so far, we've already found the flippers.
I think this is the most divergence that I've seen in a spoiler whenever I've been watching these, because usually they typically go the same direction, but this one looks like first off the bat you could go either way and just get stacked.
Yeah, and we do see our first key in Kakariko Well, and it was the Meyer Big Key. And that's, wow, both mail upgrades in the well. That is really nice because health and mail are a premium in these seeds because you don't want to go too far out of your way to find them. But if they're in your critical path, you're happy to take all the health and armor you can get.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You want your hearts too, and hearts are very, very typically the hardest thing to find, to be honest with you, because they're either the easiest or they're the hardest. Because sometimes you might have to route in pieces of heart if something's like, oh well, we got 2 in left side swamp and 6 in the basement of Ganon's tower, which has happened in a practice before.
So we do know that Recitador will have to do the front of escape sometime because, well, the Moon Pearl was in Zelda's cell. That also means we have Dark World access once the runners cover each other's tracks.
I'm really liking this play by Revenant here with the using his flippers that he just got to kind of route everything in all together. It's definitely a time save at this point.
Something must be an ice rod cave. They're both going for it. Yep, that flute will be necessary since Meyer is a crystal. And especially this early in the game, it really helps with moving around the world map.
I did notice that our pilots are not listed for our teams here. I know Rampant Revenant is being piloted by Tam, and I believe Recitador is being piloted by the guy, I just forgot his name.
Humbug.
Humbug, that's his name. I was like, it's not Data. What's his other name? What's his other team?
So it looks like the hobo's gonna have something. Eastern
Definitely something.
Yeah, that's important. No, it's great to see all this progression in Sphere 1 and Sphere 2 checks. Oh, and Recitador's going for a Gina cave.
One thing I do want to point out that it was kind of interesting at the very beginning of the week that I think almost anyone knew who the players on Did You Check Your Boot were very much, at least not much. And then they just come roaring back as these like complete powerhouse people that are like taking down the people that everybody knows in the community. It's just like, what? Who are you guys? And I've actually got to talk to them a couple times, and they're just really nice people that just know the game.
Well, apparently I'm just looking through the notes we put down as mods at the beginning of the season, trying to estimate, and someone knew them because they were actually ranked as, a team we expected to do reasonably well, even though I personally hadn't heard of the players either.
Yeah, my team was kind of like, okay, these are the people that we're gonna have to watch out for, and so we'll be good with this, and then with the first week, whenever we faced off against them, we're like, wait, these guys are really, really good. Okay, well, they're gonna be a team to watch from now on.
Yeah, chat pointing out that Recitador has not been to Hobo.
Oh,
and given where the flippers and the big key are, why would you double dip Eastern when you don't have to? He just realized.
And that's really easy to do as both a pilot and a runner and spoiler. I've been on both sides, and it's really easy to be like, hey, you need to go here real quick. This is a bad thing. Go now.
Now this is interesting. Recitador would rather fake flipper to hobo than actually get the flippers out of escape, which she's going to have to do anyway since the moon pearl's further back in escape.
I think I want to point out something that chat's been saying down here for a moment. On normal races, runners can't stream snipe. They can't see their opponents, and we have 10-minute delays, all the other stuff to prevent any kind of, cheating or anything like that. But in this week, not only can runners stream snipe and be in the chat, they control chat, the pilots can be in there, and they can see everything that's going on. As many teams have taken that to their complete advantage of memeing the chat, doing what the chat wants them to do, finding a map randomly because totally that was intentional, and, doing whatever they want the chat to do because, if they're far enough ahead or something like that, they might actually meme with the chat and the commentators just to get a laugh.
I'm just realizing Recitador is a bit shorter on weapons because he never went to Uncle Tunnel to get the hammer. Which, even with its horrible hitbox, is still nice to have because it does tempered damage.
Very true. But I can tell you that if Humbug saw what I just saw in Eastern Palace, I would be pushing my runners to go over there ASAP as well, because I'm not going to give anything away, but it's nice. But Revenant doing a play that I'm pretty sure, this is the play I would make at this point, where if you have enough keys for pod to get what you need in there, and then you have enough, if you got everything for Eastern, do them at the same time.
He has no keys for pod, though, which means that, there are the boots in Eastern. All he can really do is the bow-locked side and shooter room. And I guess if he's willing to kind of bounce around, he can get arena chest too. And I guess you can get most of the front chests without a key if you're willing to bounce around a bit.
Very true, since he's got the bow.
And there's a Master Sword and a Fetch quest.
This is definitely a very interesting choice by Revenant, but who knows? I'm not the one playing the seed, right? That's what they're there for.
So, as Recitador works his way into Armos Knights, what do we think Revenant is going to be pulling out of the front of pod?
I think.
Oh, nice quick kill on Armos for the hook.
I think Revenant's going to say peace out to pod right now. I can say that what I, just kind of as a spoiler log pilot, I probably wouldn't be sending him in for a while. Just, it's not good enough. But it is good.
Guess we'll find out eventually. Recitador is gonna grab his Master Sword now. He still needs his hammer and flippers and moon pearl, but with hammer, hookshot, and mirror, we can do anything we want in Light World Death Mountain.
I think this is the play for the moon pearl. So another reason why the pilot might have been like, hey, just go to pod, they might not have actually looked in the dungeon yet. They might be saying, hey, we need to have this for convenience sake. You need to go to Eastern anyway. Why don't you just open up pod? If there's something in there, I'll let you know. If not, then, we opened it, yeah, but we didn't waste too much time just in case it was needed later.
Yeah, and that's certainly the nice thing about early Mirror here, that you have the flexibility to do stuff like that. So the plus side for Recitador is that he now has the boots doing escape, so he's able to move through it a bit faster than Revenant did. And they'll basically be all tied up on the item incompletion count. I mean, Revenant's maybe 20 seconds ahead of Recitador.
Oh, he is going in there. I'm not sure why. I mean, I've looked at the spoiler log, but I mean, I could tell you that one of my racers would be begging me to go do this, so I think I know what he's going for, but we'll leave that to your imagination.
Well, either there's something on Bowlocked side, or he's using Bowlocked side to avoid having to unlock the door in the front.
With 0 keys, there are a total of, I believe, 5 chests you can get. So, well, that's a convenient thing. If he already knew he had, 3 heart pieces, and you're like, hey, go get your other heart.
Okay, Tempered's nice. I can understand wanting that sooner rather than later. Now what's he doing?
Dude, you have no keys.
Yeah, this isn't gonna help you. You need a small key and a big key to get anywhere here. Oh, he was just stocking up on arrows. Okay.
That's one way to do it.
And Recitador is taking us into Skull Woods, which he also can't beat without the fire rod, but maybe there's something important in the front that justifies a double dip.
Yeah, usually it's something like, I'll say whenever we've piloted these, like about 90% of the time, it feels like we have to double dip Skull Woods. If we don't, it's because the thing is not progression that's in here.
Well, Vanilla Big Key, and that's not the first time I've seen that this week either, the Vanilla Big Key of Skullwoods.
Think that Rev is right on his tail. So something that was pointed out last night by one of the comms was you don't know how much a sword difference makes unless you get it really, really, really early in the seed. The things you want really early are things like a tempered sword and boots, because those are what can make or break the actual fighting sections and travel of the seed. Revenant has both.
Yeah, and as we saw on Recitador's side, that Vanilla Big Key is necessary to get the not-so-vanilla Titansmiths.
I mean, they're just a dungeon away, right?
So now we have pretty full access to both Light and Dark Death Mountain. Can't get into Turtle Rock without a medallion, but with a Harapot clip, we could do Tower of Hera.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're gonna see a full clear of both sides.
Ice Big Key, that's interesting. Because that usually implies there's something in the big chest, because with the bomb jump or icebreaker, you wouldn't normally need to use the big key.
It could be he needed some time. Maybe it was muscle memory. Who knows?
By the way, could you check the medallions for entrance since Recitador just picked up Quake?
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. A Turtle Rock Medallion is Bombos, and Misery Mire is Quake. So I think we're gonna see what he's gonna do here in a moment.
Well, we have the Meyer Big Key, and with those Titans mitts, flute, medallion, hookshot boots, we can, and of course Cane of Samaria, we can full clear Meyer right now. Well, not full clear, we can't go to the fireside, but
Who
presumably
needs the
that. Oh,
fireside?
no, we have the lamp. Jeez. Right, they got that in Eastern. So yes, we could full clear Meyer if we wanted to. And it looks like Recitador is going to do Tower of Hera.
I mean, if you know the Harapot, pretty much just go do it.
So Recitador did skip Super Bunny Cave. Recitador having a bit of trouble here setting up the boots entrance to Harapot. Setting up the bomb way is a bit easier, but setting up the boots is faster if you can do it. And was that the Desert Big Key, even though
Yeah.
Desert is a pendant?
Pretty sure that was. Yep, that's the Desert Big Key, alright.
Oh, Recitador just totally noping out, which is surprising. I'm surprised he wouldn't have, at least tried bomb strats. And Revenant isn't going to bother with Tower of Hera either. He's going straight for Meyer, but he did get his third Turtle Rock key on the floating island there.
Yeah, so all we need is, after they find the Ice Rod and Fire Rod, they can just go mode that.
And the big key.
Yeah, who needs a big key? Yeah, they're definitely setting up for Turtle Rock. I can tell you they probably already have that routed and that big key routed in.
Meyer sheds basically a Turtle Rock care package between the Fire Rod and the Bombos Medallion.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's... Recitador went into the map chest for Desert to get a heart, but that doesn't explain why Revenant got the big key.
Well, I'm thinking that either A, there's something really good in here, like safety, or it was just muscle memory.
So I'm guessing the runners are gonna be basically racing each other through Meyer here.
That's always fun.
Oh, and just looking at their trackers, I believe both of them did get the shovel, though neither of them's actually gone to the dig spot yet.
It could be a thing of convenience, really. I mean, shovel, you can dig up arrows, rupees, hearts, bombs, whatever you need. And so, say they're like, I don't know if I can route all this in for you, or maybe they're not going to a place that has them loaded. It could just be a convenience factor.
Yeah, right. They haven't been in that area particularly. Not too often that you see Meyer as the second crystal of the seed.
But in spoiler, not in just in spoiler, but in Key Sanity, I've seen Meyer be really early a lot of the time, and they do have, not only do they have everything to clear it, but really they got everything to clear it easily.
So something in the map chest. Ooh, well, now we're just that big key short of doing Turtle Rock.
I have a feeling we're about to find that, though, because Revenant looks like a man with a mission right now, and so does Recitador, so I would say 92% sure that they are definitely know exactly where they're going next.
Yeah, and this is such a close race, too, with them almost in the same place. The only difference is Revenant was able to get a couple more items during that time that Recitador was trying Harapot.
Very true. That's actually one of the reasons why in our races with my runners, I basically say, if you miss whatever glitch you're trying to do to make things faster more than twice, just get out of there. I'll find you what you need.
Yeah. Though again, in this particular case, I'm surprised Recitador, after failing the boots glitch, didn't try the bomb glitch, which is generally easier to execute.
Yeah, see, I want to learn the spin speed one because the bomb one and I are not friends.
Yeah, when you see a top runner who always gets spin speed on their first try do it, it's just amazing. It's like blink and they're already in the pot.
Yeah, and I've actually, whenever I talked to Recitador back on my match with him ways back, I know he was working on it, and I know that he said, he's like, I've got it most of the time. I've been working on it, trying to get it 100% of the time. So I can tell you that there's a bit of tilt right there, probably from him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can see the difference between Tempered Sword and Master Sword on Vitreous because Revenant got him down fairly quickly and Recitador is slashing, slashing, slashing. Fortunately, due to a glitch in the game, while you're slashing, the cape does not drain magic power.
Or very, very, very little.
And he got enough hits to the big eyeball while he was slashing that he only needed 6 arrow shots instead of the usual 8.
I always love that whenever you've slashed enough and you're like, oh, well, I don't have to do much. So is this a play to Ice Palace, or is this down to Swamp or not Ice Palace? Wow, is this a place to Hype Cave? I almost called it Hype Palace, by the way, but Hype Cave, or is it play down to Swamp Palace?
Meanwhile, it looks like Recitador is now doing pod, only he'll be going in with 1 key.
I wonder where they're going.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the flute to 1 now from Revenant. Looks like there might be something on Lake Hylia Island, though. No, he's mirroring here. Ice Palace?
Probably Ice Palace. If I were to want to do something where I could do something in one shot pretty easily, I chose, Turtle Rock, Ice Palace, things like that. But we're still looking for that that Thieves Town big key. So it might be in here. I can answer the question here in chat. In Hype Cave, the other things in there were completely worthless for what they need right now. It's just like a big key to Swamp, 20 rupees, 20 rupees. So just a lot of rupees and a worthless big key.
Okay, so Recitador was also only going into pod for the Tempered Sword, and he just took advantage of having the small key to not have to go through the bow-locked side and be able to just walk straight into the arena. And looks like he has the same idea with ice.
Now, while I might spoil something after the fact, after the runners have already been in there or something like that, what might be in the big chest of Ice Palace, well, we'll have to see.
And it's funny, in terms of collection, the only difference between these runners is that Revenant has 2 more Turtle Rock small keys than the big key.
I mean, where were these convenient heart placements last night in our race?
Yeah, Revenant's already up to 8 hearts. And of course, both runners are on red mail too, so. Tempered Sword Cold Stare with red mail should be not too bad. What is it? The puffs only do 2 hearts damage with red mail?
I think it's 2 puffs, 2 hearts. It's barely anything.
And Recitador is going for the Icebreaker clip, which we saw on Revenant's side. Looks like he's got it. He got it.
Yay, yay, Recitador. They have all our names. I'm going to mistake them at some. To be honest, I'm rooting for both sides because, again, talked to both of them before. I've raced both of them before. They're great people.
Another big key. Ooh, Thieves Town. That was kind of necessary.
So, I mean, does this put Revenant in go mode? Is he actually in go mode right now? Is the question.
Yeah, he's got the fire rod. Needs GT big key, but as long as he can Harapot glitch, I think he has everything else.
I mean, so I know on this week we usually don't do the GT big key guessing game, but if they have to go in there to get it, I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah, then we'd guess which location rather than which check because it's a spoiler race, so they're probably not going to check too many places that don't have the big key.
They're going to check them all. Yeah, I have piloted my runners on so many times that GT has had the GT big key that I'm just always like, I've had both Scruff and Jetters, both of them ask me, "Hey, is this in GT?" And it's like, yeah, you got to go to the GT big key chest. I'm so sorry.
Oh, and Recitador was not able to corner Cold Stare, so this is going to take a bit longer, and he just took the last hit he can afford from Cold Stare, so he has to get them without getting hit.
He got it.
There we go. But it does extend Rampant Revenant's slight lead. Where was the second Turtle Rock key? Because I remember the third one was on Floating Island.
Let's see. Hookshot Cave.
Oh, makes sense. So, yeah, Recitador just never did Dark Death Mountain, and not a horrible thing. He can go up there when the time comes to do Turtle Rock. Also interesting that Revenant now picked up another pod small key.
Well, the attic chest is a very, there's two chests really in Thieves Town that are complete muscle memory. That's the attic chest and the chest next to Blind. So we'll see what he does on there. But I will say that he needs a couple more than just one if he wants to get the other only good item in pod.
Yeah, and the only thing it really takes to open those two extra chests is the couple of seconds just to hold up the item.
That is true. The seed has been very nice, though, to them in comparison to other seeds I've seen this week and other seeds I've even piloted this week. The seed is very nice.
Yeah,
that chest is addicted to something.
Since you're talking about another good item in pod, the only thing I can imagine is the silvers being back there because, if GT Big Key were there, they would be making more of an effort to go there. Oh, there's our fourth Turtle Rock key. Okay.
And no dips needed, or no stealing keys needed there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if Recitador actually gets all four of them, since he has to go into Hookshot Cave for one. Will he go to the floating island for the other, and then be able to not deal with that Hokuboku?
Well, just, since I do have, I have the log in front of me and I'm not, again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. So, but I will say that really, if I were piloting this for my runners for pod, I would have called it safety pod. It's really, there's a sword there, but it's almost all safeties that are in pod.
I mean, powder, bottle, and silvers seem like the biggest safeties that we haven't seen. But Revenant is tearing through and is going to be on his 5th crystal pretty soon.
What I will do is, if once both of our runners are in GT, that'll be whenever I spoil anything that would not be pertinent.
Makes sense. Once they're in GT, you can talk about everything they skipped before
exactly.
GT. So somehow, Rampant Revenant has opened up a lead of an entire dungeon now.
What I'm going to end up doing is, there was something that somebody asked in one of our races, which was, hey, where's the silvers this time? And my only response in there was, we don't ask. It's silvers are going to be where they are, and I will say that it's I mean, when I looked at it, I would have already told my runner where it is and then asked if they wanted to get it. So it's one of these things of, this kind of mode is complete communication with your with your runner, and see where they're comfortable, what they want to do, and where they want to go.
Well, Revenant is fluted to Death Mountain. I'm going to guess he's not coming off the mountain until he beats Agatu. And that GT Big Key is somewhere up here on the mountain.
Yeah, I would wager a guess that Tam has already got his entire Revenant's route completely routed out, and told him where he needs to go, and then just said, hey, this is the best way to go, and let's do it. And also, at whenever you see this kind of happen here with, any kind of lead, you might see the runners start going, oh, well, we have enough of the lead. You can go to safety room. You can go grab this other safety. You can go do this. You can get silvers if they're readily available. It's at a point, it comes to a point whenever there is any kind of lead that the pilot can be like, okay, here's where these other things are. If you want them, go get them.
In a dramatic case of that, we had a race a couple of days ago where one team had so much of a lead that they decided to go to left side swamp for the silvers.
Not naming any names on who did that.
They'll be safely anonymous.
I can safely say on any team that does that, it is probably for laughs and memes. It is probably not to like flex or do anything mean on any other racers, because that's typically not what you're going to see from most people in this community. But as Dark Diplomat did point out, it wasn't for silvers. That was just a nice byproduct of getting the map.
It's all about the maps. We should also mention that GT small key is nice because if the runners don't have to go into GT basement, that is, if GT big key is not in the basement, then they can just go straight upstairs. They don't even have to get the small key west of the torch room.
What the fun part about this mode really is, and I'm sure that, you know, Recitador and Revenant and all the people who have participated in these races have found out, you know, not only do you get to talk to your partner, which that settles people down with any nerves, jitters, or anything, and actually can make you play better. You know, it's also you get to play in chat. You get to talk. You get to hear the comms and what they're saying, and you get to hear them, you know, rag on you whenever you do something bad. And it actually does create a much calmer atmosphere than rather whenever you're just, oh goodness, I have to stare at the screen for an hour and a half, and hopefully I don't screw up bad enough that they're going to say something.
Yeah, and I've been hearing from a lot of runners that this has been their favorite mode so far in the league.
Oh, absolutely, here too. As the pilot, I will say this has been my favorite mode. I've been told by, you know, both my runners, it's like, this is the one mode where the pilot can be the strongest player and not be like, feel like they're taking, especially in the case of multiple pilots who are like, I'm not as good as my other runners. So this is where I can feel good.
So now the big question is, what next for Revenant? I guess he does Hera, and then we'll find out where GT Big Key is or isn't. Meanwhile, Recitador is getting his remaining keys. And he's not gonna bother with the floating island one. He figures it'll be less time to beat that Hokuboku.
Yeah, we had that discussion last night whenever it was, hey, would it be less time for us to beat the, you know, go run over and possibly just save and quit, go to Sanctuary, go to Bonk Rocks, or would it be faster for us to beat the Hokupoku and have to go through that entire room, which actually does take some time? So we actually even had that conversation last night, and I know one side decided to do the Poku, the other side decided to do Bonk Rocks. But I will say that next week is co-op week, and it is going to be an exciting co-op week, especially this division in particular. We're going to have 3 people tied for first, 3 people tied for, you know, fourth at that point, and some of those people who are tied for first and fourth are actually playing each other. You know, it's going to be a completely hype week, and still we don't really have any teams that are, you know, well, there he does it the first time.
Yeah. So that's probably going to be the difference maker in the game, that if Recitador had gotten it the first time, this would be a really close match right now.
I wonder if Recitador goes back and does the bomb setup, or if he's going to go try to get that big key.
Which we don't even know where it is. I mean, you could look through the spoiler log, but the rest of us don't know where it is.
Right, and I will say that I had to say it out to myself over here going, ew. So I'm hoping that Recitador just kind of goes in with the Harapod.
Yeah, a lot of the glitches that have been discovered in the last year or so can really eliminate some ooh factors. Like, in Key Sanity, being able to do Harapot is kind of similar to being able to do the Kern jump when the hammer's in East Dark World, and that cuts out Aga.
So the real question is he going to look through here for silvers, or is he going to go to the top after he finds his big key right there in Hope Chest?
Looks like he's going for silvers because he has enough keys to go upstairs.
So which room is silvers in, guys? Oh, he already has his mirror out. I think we got the answer to that question.
There must have been like 3 races this week where silvers were in Stalfos' room. It's crazy.
And they're actually really commonly in there too. I have, we saw how many I've actually practiced with, and I think it was 15 that we did practices we did before just the 2 races. I kind of time all of them, and it says on my my live split there. But out of those, I would say it was close to it was at least 6 or 7 of the 15.
So this is interesting. Recitador took 2 pieces of heart off of Laser Bridge, which means there must be a heart piece upstairs in GT that he's planning to rely on for a full health refill, since he doesn't have powder or any bottles.
Well, I think I can say it now though, but that's because there's a bottle on Sick Kid. And that's the only easily accessible bottle in the entire game.
So Sick Kid gives you a bottle for a bottle.
Pretty much.
Recitador having a bit of trouble with the 3rd neck of Trinex, but he gets it. And Revenant is well into the gauntlet. In fact, he's out of the gauntlet. Blink and you'll miss Silver Arrow Landmos.
Just gotta say, this is a seed of just. I would have loved to have this seed, any time during practices or anything, because this seed is just really nice.
Yeah, it should be sub-hour, definitely for Revenant, possibly even for Recitador. Where's Recitador flying to?
This is exactly why I wasn't going to say what anything else in the game was.
Oh. Yeah, this is interesting because I would have thought he'd just go into GT, get the big key and the silvers. Or is he just not feeling comfortable Harapotting and he's gonna have to get the big key now?
Believe he's getting his Harabig key.
Which is in the pyramid.
Yep.
Yikes.
Well, we know Recitador is walking right by this, so Butter is actually in the compass chest of Swamp Palace, and that key to get in there was nasty as well.
But Butter's one of those things you really generally don't get unless it's pretty close to along the way.
Oh yeah, like I've had some, like if it's Misery Mire big chest or something like that, and they have to walk a little bit, maybe like 30 seconds to get it, that's whenever you get butter. It's got to be a less than a 30-second time sink to get it.
Yeah, and it depends how many bosses you have left to go. Like, if you're confident enough to be able to one cycle the first 2 Ganon phases with Tempered, then it doesn't even buy you that much. So, I guess at the end of the day, you know, this race can really be summed up as having come down to Harapot.
I would say that is absolutely correct as well. And, you know, Harapot is one of those that I feel like you either get it or you don't, and it's... sometimes it's just really, really hard to get.
Yeah. We'll just have to ask Recitador why he didn't try the bomb setup. And down goes Aga 2 for Revenant. He should probably get 56 and change, maybe 57 if nothing goes wrong with Ganon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 57. That gives him, what, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah. It depends whether he can one cycle the first 2 phases or not also.
We'll also say that, you know, both of these runners are absolutely fantastic, you know, then, and having it come down to Harapot is that hurts, because I'm one of the people who I can't do Harapot consistently. So yeah.
Yeah, that was not a one cycle for phase 2, so he's gonna have to continue with phase 2 here.
You gotta hate whenever you don't have any bottles and you can't use the cape strats because you might use too much magic.
Yeah, you can use Hookshot as a safety, but that's about it. Oh, and he got hit by a bat. So he can't take any more hits here, but we are almost done with phase 3.
Yeah, he's got this.
Gets the torch glitch even. Ooh, misaimed the arrow.
Yeah, tried to set up a double, and it did not work out.
And now he's really playing it safe with singles.
I mean, you don't want to take that Ganon hug.
But hey, for all that, he is going to be 56 and change, as I was anticipating.
And as he crosses this little bridge here, we see that RampantRevenant has finished in first place with an SRL time of 56 minutes and 50 seconds. GG.
Hey there.
And there he is.
That was a fast arrival. GG.
Yeah, is honestly, I feel like the best I've ever played.
It looked fantastic. You had excellent execution. I mean, everything was just coming up you know, as of at one point, and that Harapot really was the make or break moment.
Yeah, I've been practicing all those tricks today. I even
Yeah.
practiced other methods to dive her down and mimic clip, and I didn't even get to use them.
Well, you did a nice icebreaker too.
Yeah. But this siege started out fast.
And your routing was great too. I mean, you were just picking up stuff left and right. I mean, I know a lot of it was Sphere 1 anyway, but still.
Yeah.
Say GG's to Tam there.
Yeah. I'm glad I decided to go get Quake before I went to Mire. I honestly didn't expect to have that many hearts by that point.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you finish with? Like 9 hearts in the end? And Red Mail. The fact that Cackwell handed you red mail. What did you think when you found that out?
Yeah, I was happy with that. I would have made do without, but hey, I'm gonna take it.
Absolutely. You always want to take red mail whenever it's given to you, or if it's even just in the way. You don't want to, have a 5-heart blue mail or anything going on up, GT or anything like that. And you guys were set from like just pretty much 30 seconds in.
Yeah, 2 hearts in desert. That is also nice.
I mean, otherwise, what do you guys think of the seed? I mean, seemed like it was a fun.
30 minutes in, it's like, wait, we're in go mode. That's insane.
Yeah, except for that GT Big Key, which of course
Was
is in
it
the
GT?
Hope Room, because when you know where it is, it's in the Hope Room. It's just when you have to look for it that it's not someplace nice like the Hope Room.
Yeah, and Silver's in Staffos room too. DM room.
And I swear that's the second seed I've calmed this week that GT Big Key was in the Hope Room and Silvers were in the Stalfos room. But hey, makes life easy.
Yeah.
I guess the big question is how are you feeling about, the division and your playoff chances now that you're in a 3-way tie rather than a 5-way tie for the lead, and you're playing Double Dippers next week, who's one of the teams you're tied with.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be close. They'll tell you that. I think as long as we get 1 win, we get into playoffs. I think that's how it's gonna be. And I'm really looking forward to co-op. I really like playing co-op.
Yeah, co-op should be fun. You gonna do one race or both?
We haven't decided yet. I want to do both, but we might just split it up a little bit. Because Tan's ready to get back to playing since he has piloted both races this week.
Oh, yeah. So maybe he'll do both.
Yeah, we're still going to figure it out.
Oh, cool.
Tam did a fantastic job, so, and I wish that he could, jump in here with us too, but I know it only goes to the racer there. But yeah, he just he routed. That routing was just flawless. It looked like so.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get Tam an invite. I want to try something.
So we had noticed that a big difference here was, Recitador had gotten multiple keys to pod, and you had, grabbed one. It looked like a instinct on there. Was getting half magic even on your radar?
No, at that point, no, it wasn't. I think so. I figured a tempered sword and cave would be enough for me, or for the Vidi fight. And I've gotten used to doing GT without half magic already.
I think that was the only thing other than a bottle that was in pod in general. So, kind of, since I had the log up here, it's just yeah, there wasn't really anything, and it wasn't easy to get any bottles, and the safeties in this seed were just not existent.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Tam in the waiting room here. Let's see if we can get him in. Here he is. GG's.
Yeah, thanks. That was insanely generous seed.
That's what I was saying. As a fellow pilot, I was like, man, why couldn't I have had this seat to pilot at any point during my practices?
Anything under an hour in spoiler key sanity is great.
Definitely. And every seeds that are not convoluted in terms of the logic are just, even if they're slower, this one wasn't, but even when they are slower, it's such a relief because it makes my job so much easier.
Absolutely. It's so much fun to see a seed that, not only can be done in an hour, but there's nothing like, oh, I'm going to have to double dip 6 dungeons in order to get all my progression to do said 6 dungeons.
All the progression was in the first 5 minutes, so it didn't really matter.
Looks like Recitador is now defeating some Moldorm too, so he's going to be here probably in the next 3 minutes.
Oh, and that was where that small piece of heart was that he was going to use for a full refill. conveniently after Moldorm.
I brought that one up at some point, but Revenant was just... At some point he told me, we don't need any more health, I'm fine. He even skipped out on the powder and Total Rock.
I saw that and I was curious about that because I don't think either one of my runners would have skipped out on convenient power.
Where was it? Laser Bridge?
The roller room.
Mhm.
Oh.
Never mind. They would have skipped out on that if we had that much health.
56 out of 216.
That's insane, but amazing.
It is insane.
Wow, it hasn't quite hit it on the restream, but yeah. I think last night we saw a 49 actually. But
That's crazy.
anything under 60 is like crazy low. And Recitador takes down Aga 2, so he will be facing the pig now. Should still get 106 and change. Which is still a very respectable time.
Yeah, any key sanity, spoiler or not, if you can get under, some of these spoiler seeds are crazy, but if you get under 120, it's insane.
Yeah, we've had a lot of seeds this week that have gone 150, 120 or more.
We were doing one to practice seeds, and GT Big Key was on the pedestal.
Oh, that seed was such a pain.
I'm so glad that we didn't do that one.
Illis and Chad is remarking on the same one, so I guess it was probably the same practice seed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had the best time for that one. It was legitimately one of the worst key sanity seeds I've ever seen.
I think that if I is the one I'm thinking it was, then that was the next one on our list to do, and then we didn't end up practicing that.
So it looks like Recitador didn't get the one cycle on phase 2 Ganon either, but he's on to phase 3 now. Also with low health.
I lost count of my hits on Ganon in phase 1.
Yeah, it's hard when he's not in a great place to do spin attacks against to be able to one cycle him with the tempered.
Yeah, one of the...
No!
I feel very sad now.
He was on phase 4 and he got hit by Ganon Fire.
Yeah, I mean, any idea how many times that's happened though to any runner? It's just like, you've done tempered so many times. You know this fight like the back of your hand, and then just there it goes.
Yeah, actually, Revenant, we were kind of worried about you when you were down to a heart and a half for some of that fight.
Yeah, I was trying to take it a little bit slower on phase 2. Yeah, it's like I got hit by that trident.
Oh, and Recitador takes another fire bat hit. He's down to 4 hearts, but I think with the cape... Oh, another hit and he's down to 2. Ow!
I would say that probably right now Recitador is a little bit nettled, but it'll be okay. He's got this.
Yeah, but since he used magic on the cape, now he needs a magic refill before he can jump back in.
Yeah, I didn't check to see what the tree pull was, but of course not magic.
He's just gonna... Where was half magic, by the way? That must have been out of the way somewhere.
Harmless Hellway.
Oh, so that was one of the safeties you were talking about in the back of Pod.
Yeah, Pod was... There was a couple of things I wanted in there, but all of the keys were inconvenient, so the only thing we could get was the sword. I really would have liked to get the half magic there.
Yeah, I think that Recitador ended up finding 3 small keys, but yeah, I would have been in your position. It's like, okay, there's we could possibly get you up to 3. That's about.
Didn't you say like 2 of the small keys were in GT?
Yeah,
Something like that.
2 of the pod small keys were?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Okay,
remember.
Recitador, you're on phase 3, just stay healthy.
Very true. I remember one of our practice seeds had 3 small keys for pod in GT, and I remarked, I was like, why are there 3 small keys in GT for pod? And my runner goes, because it's a pendant. I'm like, thank you, Scruff.
Okay, that's phase 3, and you may have noticed all those Ganon warps. That's because once you take a Ganon Death or a Ganon Fall, he has a totally different pattern for his warps, so you can get a lot of warps or you can get few warps.
Missing the
Recitador
torch
did not
glitch
get the
somehow.
torch glitch. He's gonna need to be thinking doubles here. Okay, that was a good double, just needs one more hit.
There it is.
So get your GGs in for Recitador sticking out that Ganon fight.
And Recitador does finish in second with the SRL official time of 1:10:26. Absolutely get those GGs in chat, and we'll hopefully get him in here.
Here's Recitador.
GGs.
Yeah, thanks. GG's.
Oh yeah, we got Humbug here too.
You got Humbug first.
Yeah. Yeah, that was extremely fast in the beginning. The seed was so front loaded that, at least for me as the pilot, it was hectic as hell and stressful, and I'm like wasted right now. I'm so tired. And the thing is that when we got a small key to GT at some point, I think it was from like Mothula, maybe.
Yeah.
Both Recitador and I realized that we had completely forgotten about the GT key. We just spaced over it. And the fact that it was in Hope Room of all places, we just cracked it open, the both of us. That was hilarious.
I see you guys got tempered. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so early on that dip is worth it every time.
Yeah, especially with Cold Stare and Trinax and Mothula and Ganon. It's worth it. It was worth it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go on record that despite the fact that I apparently picked up on Icebreaker no problem, I hate Icebreaker and Haripot with a passion.
Yeah, I noticed you had a very nice Icebreaker setup, but yeah, that Haripot was kind of the big difference maker in the seed.
I'm very hit or miss on Haripot, even with the spin seed setup, which is like theoretically easier.
I was surprised you didn't try the bomb setup.
I don't know the bomb setup. I hate buffering so much.
Oh.
The only reason I did Icebreaker so smoothly is I could do it without buffering or like any real buffering, like just like one little buffer. But yeah, Haripot, like the downright, there's so much you have to downright for so long, it like somehow just really screws me up. And sometimes I can get it immediately, and sometimes it takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's my problem with most of the downright things is because it's like, yeah, it's either I do it immediately or, yep, that doesn't happen. So, totally understand.
Yeah, when Hugo told me where the Haribit key was, I was like, well, it might be over.
So yeah, how are you guys feeling now about next week? I mean, you're in a tough spot, but you're not eliminated.
Next week seems doable, but anything can happen, you know.
Right, and you basically need to win out next week to have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we made it further than I really thought we would to begin with, but I guess we didn't end up in one of the like divisions with like the absolute like killers in it. Like Farime will have a give an interview and all that. Everybody here is kind of like just trading blows.
You mean with a name like Forfeiters R Us, you weren't expecting to get far?
Well, yeah, it was worth a shot anyway, right? I was just here for the cross keys. Yeah.
And that more refers to Dataplet anyway. He usually do most of the forfeiters.
Well, yeah, but fun fact, I'm top 20 on the percentage of forfeiters. You gotta be top at something.
But I mean, he is top 1, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's the king of forfeits.
Good. Glad we settled that. But yeah, next week is gonna be it's gonna be really fun. I personally enjoy the co-op info share a bit more than I do the spoiler races.
Because I can agree on that.
I like it because I tend to like run into all the hearts while I'm looking for things.
I like it because I'm gonna finally get to play the game again.
Yeah.
I think I'm officially setting out next week. We had a whole plan of who was going to do what and all this other stuff at the very beginning, and we did not think we were going to be anywhere near the point where we're at. You know, where technically 2 wins would put us into playoffs. So I was like, you know what? I'm a damn good pilot. Oops, sorry. But I'm not so good at I'm the person who accidentally will die on Trinex with red mail. So maybe not.
I actually felt okay, other than the lack of ability to Haripot this week is probably the best I've done so far running. So, I didn't make it, well, until Ganon. Yeah, Ganon was a little bit. I just needed to, reset him a couple times so I could get like an almost okay Ganon until I missed the torch glitch.
I was trying to figure out how you even missed the torch glitch, to be honest with you. I was like, wait, he did everything right. That's weird, but okay.
I think I probably just didn't press the button exactly the one frame I needed to.
Well, anyway, it looks like the credits are finishing up here, so we should probably wrap. Any final thoughts from the runners and pilots?
So just good luck on next week.
Yeah, I just want to say this group is absolutely stupid, and it's really not good for my emotional health.
GG. This kind of went like I thought it would, especially when I found out where that key was. But
yeah,
I didn't hate. This is the first time I didn't actually absolutely hate my performance, other than Ganon. So.
GG.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, GG's to you all.
GG.
And just to plug what's coming up next in the league, at 3 p.m. on SG2, so in 40 minutes, We have Illis versus Blaine, which should be a great match. Those two teams are duking it out for the top seed in their division, and remember, top seed in a division gets a bye the first week of the playoffs, so it's a pretty nice safety to have if you can get it. So definitely go check out that race. And we have another couple at 4 p.m., Ben Creighton versus Senin on the ALTTPR League channel, and 4:30, Ganon's Gone Wild versus Faraimi, another two teams duking it out for the first seed in their division, and that'll be here on SG5. So check out as many of those as you can. They should be exciting. And
I guess.
once again, thanks to our runners, and definitely give them a follow. And thanks to my co-com, CappyCat54. It was great working with you. I don't think we've worked together before.
I don't think so, but there's probably going to be some more in the future.
Hope so. And Dark Diplomat, as always, tracker extraordinaire. Thank you. And that should do it for us today. Any final words? Tabbycat?
Well, I was not sure if the runners had anything else to say first, but I would say thanks for everyone coming out and watch. Definitely thank you, Drossi, for calming with me. Thanks for the trackers. Thanks everyone for coming out and watching, and definitely give those runners and everyone a follow, because they absolutely deserve it there.
And have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye everyone. Have a good night.